And I would like now to invite Mr. Wojciech Fałkowski, who is professor at both the Paris Sorbonne and the Warsaw University.
Madam Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, this is my pleasure and thank you for inviting me here. I would like to present another way of looking at the problem as a historian, as somebody who deals rather with written sources than with monuments. And I would like to present heritage as a perceiving the past. Secondly, keeping the strengthening collective memory. And third point, building through this identity of people on local and national level. One of most urgent needs for Poles nowadays is to re-establish true and coherent vision of their own country, of their own history. Country was governed for almost a half of century by the communists, whose main task was to replace the version of history rooted in the consciousness and memory of people by their own new version. They tried to impose the vision of the past, of national history, and that one of other countries, in order to strengthen their power and to form a new people of the era of communism. The written word remained in service of the power and formed collective memory in line with its wishes. However, all the time a part of historic tradition existed, which was preserved in the memory of the people, without the power's knowledge or against its will. This disobedient memory was all the more related to personal decisions of individuals and evoked special emotions. Any authority imposed, any system created above the heads of the subjects, every authoritarian regime had an opponent in form of human memory, which strived to preserve forbidden and undesirable memories and private cliché. Forgetfulness was an imposed civic virtue. Forgetting, discarding selected facts from the past. On the other hand, in the same time, the common defiant memory has integrated the society. Knowledge about the society's own history was a help in difficult times and it strengthened the resistance against unfriendly institutions and hostile authorities. In such times, a second collective memory was created, in parallel to the official one, which was pushed back into the private sphere and maintained strictly within the circle of family and friends. In such cases, very often idealized versions of heroic behavior have emerged, of unlimited sacrifices and great successes. Those bordered on national or group mythology, which permitted the verified and proven facts, adding embellishment and exaltation. Parallelly, home history, told within the family circle, was the opposing version of the official history, of the official story told by government. As it was preserved, this home history, this official version was preserved thanks to the authority, this home history, this home version was preserved thanks to the authority of older generations and showed the world of the past, often slandered in official publications or completely omitted. At the same time, the message was based on symbols and images which captured hearts. In this sense, the private history was easy to internalize and impossible to be fully silenced out by the authorities or replaced with a version prepared by them. An important part of private history were the characters of patriots, their heroic deeds in defense of the motherland, and as well as strong linkages to patriotic and family values. Polish national uprisings of 19th century have been described in accounts which used in equal measure actual facts and legends which moved hearts and imaginations. In such a way, the home history has become a part of a set of values and beliefs preserved and maintained within the family circle as resistance to indoctrination by a totalitarian regime. Let me say what was the history, the story people didn't want to forget and abandon. How to do this? Yep. This is the shape of Poland before partitions, before the last war. This is the shape which is linked with Jagiellon time, the first republic of nobles. And also, this was the state of multicultural and multi-ethnical society, a nation of many local groups with a peaceful coexistence for years and centuries. And this is the same situation after the war. You see the borders of previous Poland, which was moved, which was shifted to the west. And this gray shape is Poland nowadays. Poland was relocated from the east to the west, and many of cultural centers are now out of the territory. And what happened to this place where we are now? We are in Wrocław. And look at this map. The Wrocław was inhabited after the war by people from Lwów. This was the city in eastern part of Poland, very famous, very rich, with excellent universities. And one day, after Yalta decisions, at the end of the war, Lwów, as Poland as a whole, was pushed to the west. And they came to the city which had an excellent, one of the best universities in Germany and in Europe. In 19th and in the first half of 20th century, Breslau University was one of the best, on the highest levels, schools on the continent. You see the photo pictures of 7 Nobel Prize winners from this university. They taught here, they were teaching at this university, and one day this heritage was completely destroyed. One day, part of them were dead at that time, but their story was completely forgotten. They didn't exist just after the war. And look at Lwów University. This was probably the best mathematics school on the continent, perhaps all over the world. Many of them, of this group, at least 3 or 4, I'm quite sure, and I was told by my colleagues, mathematicians from the university, at least 3 or 4 would be awarded with Fields Medal, the highest distinctions in mathematics. And only one of them survived the war. Hugo Steinhaus came to Wrocław after the war to establish new university. But he couldn't re-establish this school and Lwów University with this milieu you see on the picture. This disappeared as well as the previous Breslau University did. And this is the Poland before partitions. This is the map of whole territory from the west borders nearby of Wrocław, who was at that time in Habsburg's possession, and until Kiev, up to Kiev and remote areas in the east. And this was the territory governed due to the Polish-Lithuanian and after some decennies, Ukrainian also, union. This permitted to govern this large territory with multi-ethnic, with many nations, many local groups, many languages, religions, and cultures in peaceful way. There was no religious wars in Poland in 16th and 17th century. There was no clashes, of social clashes between groups. There were uprising of Cossacks who found their national identity. There were quarrels between some groups of Lithuanians, Polish nobles, and other lobbies. But there was no civil war during many hundreds years. And this is Warsaw Confederation Act. This is Magna Carta of Tolerance. Due to this confederation, the peace between religions in 16th century was preserved, was assured. In the century of religious wars, Poland was an island without wars between religions and people of different cultures. And this is the way, just before partitions, at the end of 18th century, Poland was governed. This is the second constitution in the world, the first one in Europe. Constitution of 3rd May. And this was the last court of independent Poland. This is a translation into English, and this proved the influence of this act on the continent. And we came back to the first shape of Poland in 10th, 11th century. This is three main centers at that time: Gniezno in the north, Wrocław, where we are in Silesia, and Kraków on the east. This is the shape we found again in 20th century. To conclude, let me say for what reason I think this is important and this is a good way of dealing with heritage. There are 3 points I'd like to raise at this moment. At first, maintaining the continuity of tradition and collective memory is an important factor assisting and stimulating the economic growth. This is the way which permits to assure the growth in economy. The second point is that keeping and strengthening historical identity, consciousness of the heritage, and knowledge of the past is a way to preserve values in a society which permits to maintain social coherence. A third one, and the last one, is knowing the past and understanding the historical landscape obviously is a part of a general knowledge, but also, this is more perhaps original, facilitates preparing projects from different fields for the future. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you very much, Professor Fałkowski.